Other countries' concerns should not be our own. If we join the World Assembly, other countries will ask for favors we can't commit to. We would have to sign a treaty and spend valuable resources defending other countries with the only thing we get in return is a warm feeling. While there is nothing wrong with international trade, we shouldn't have to sacrifice the lives of our youth to do so.
With the state of the world today, it is impossible to stay out of world events. War runs rampant across the world. The local inhabitants of countries live outside of their means, and dictators deliberately ignore universal human rights. In our debate, I explained to you, the citizens of our fair nation, why we need to stay active in world events. The World Assembly. The World Assembly, as you know, is a unique way in which free countries can meet in order to advance the state of the world. My opponent claims that this will force us into strange favors that will exhaust our resources and force us to defend others. However, my opponent obviously does not understand the layout of the World Assembly. It is a purely democratic process where countries can choose to focus on resolutions. There is nothing at all that forces us into commitments, nor is there anything that prevents us from withdrawing from the World Assembly if our democratic rights are stripped. Instead of signing strange deals, we will be discussing advancing the status of third world countries, enacting trade embargoes on those who violate basic human rights, and help settle peace agreements. Do you honestly want to vote for a party that is against making the world a better place? Free trade. To put it simply, no modern country can live within the resources of their country indefinitely. Not Russia, not China, not the United States, and nor can we. That is why we need to advance free trade among various nations. What the squares seem to think will happen is that if we can stay within our shell, then we can expect other nations to throw us a bone and trade with us. This is not only short-sighted, but completely illogical. There is an old saying, if you want a friend, you have to be a friend. Likewise, if we want partners, trade or otherwise, we have to be a partner. If we stay within our own borders, refuse to join the largest peacekeeping organization in the world, and expect others to deal with us for no reason, then I highly doubt that other nations will want to trade with us. We need to be active in world events in order to sustain our own nation, keep us out of rampant poverty, and feed our children. Protection. If we refuse to participate in world affairs, then obviously we would stay out of alliances as well. However, when other countries are being active with and trading with one another, then chances are they will form military alliances as well. I am not claiming that we have an under-adequate military. I don't think anyone will make that claim, but I doubt any military can withstand the might of 2 or 3 superpowers on their own. If we don't stay active, then we will form friendships with other nations, and chances are we will form defensive pacts as well. Remember, defensive pacts don't force us to go to war with others if they are the aggressors, and so they will keep us protected without restricting us. However, we can form these protective alliances without being active in world affairs and building relationships. We need to stay active in world affairs in order to protect ourselves, sustain ourselves, and further ourselves. The squares would rather we sit on our island paradise until our resources are used up and children are starving in the streets, but the diamonds know that this is not the way. The way outward is often the way forward.
All alliances between countries led to some form of war or economic disaster. It's as easy a resolution to come to as that if you give a dictator power, people will die. While we may not be forced to join in wars that don't involve us, we will be pressured with other countries saying it is for the better good. The United Nations said the same thing about the Korean War. While some discuss the future of third world countries, we will most likely be turning a cheek to the murder of civilians if it helps establish our own philosophies, just like the United States did when they supported a tyrant just because he was anti-communist. How can you say that countries that remain in their shell do not trade? China, the world's most reclusive country, is also the richest. These aren't the days where our leaders practice brinksmanship for trade. Look at the situation in the European Union. If one country's economy goes in the toilet, so does everyone else's. Why should we have to pay for another country's ineffective leaders? How does not joining in the World Assembly lead to us being invaded? Unless your party is planning to anger every other country in the world, then we have no need to join. What is to say we cannot form a healthy relationship with other countries while not taking part in discussions that have no concern with us? If the World Assembly is interested in making the world a better place, then why wouldn't it help us in case of war? Even if it doesn't, other countries will come to our aid if only to help maintain trade. Us squares would not rather have us sit on our island dwindling away our supplies, because we do understand that they are limited. Even if we somehow do run out of supplies, wouldn't the Great World Assembly help us in order to try to make the world a better place? A very clever man said this, but 1 + 1 = 2, not 11.